Hey guys, I'm Kyle. Welcome back to the channel. So, if you guys have been following along, in the last couple videos, I cut the rear shock mounts off of my ZR2, and I thought that I was going to be able to order Icon shocks that were designed for a Z71 height truck, and I thought that would fit because I had made the shock mount shorter, and I thought I was buying a shorter shock. So, the shocks are here, and I have some bad news for me and some good news for anybody that likes Icon shocks with the ZR2. So let's check it out. So here I have the shocks laid side by side, and to my surprise, they have the exact same, like within a quarter of an inch of eye to eye measurement. So these Icon shocks are designed for a Z71, and it says between 0 to 2 inches of lift. I really see zero reason why this shock would not be a direct fit on a stock height ZR2. It seems like that if it fits a Z71 with 0 to 2 inches of lift, then it should fit a ZR2, but they do not market it as such. So it's hard for me to hold the camera and do a tape measure on them. But fully extended, they both measure within a quarter inch of 25 inches is the full extension. When I had the DSSVs still on the truck before I cut the shock mounts off, I fully flexed it and took the measurements. The tire that was fully stuffed was 18.5 inches as the measurement of the shock. So it left about 2 inches of this showing where it wasn't fully compressed, and the fully extended measurement was 25 inches. So that tells me that when the truck is fully flexed, the shock is fully extended on the ZR2. But unfortunately, as you can see, the body is just a quarter inch longer than the DSSV body. And this has the exact same, both of these fully compressed measure about 16 inches. So it does not work for my application where I have shorter shock mounts. I do believe these shocks would work for somebody that was looking to replace their stock DSSVs with a cheaper option. These shocks are only $170 a piece, so it comes out to about $340 for the pair. And yeah, I think I am going to put them on anyways, because this DSSV shock rides real stiff in the bottom 2 inches of its ride travel, and I'm hoping that the Icon might be a little bit softer, even though it'll still be really close to fully compressed. So we'll get that on and we'll see what we think. All right, so immediately upon trying to install the Icon shocks, I realized it was not going to fit, and I went to grab the instructions. So here you can see it says remove OEM shock, and then install the Icon shock upside down with the shaft pointing up. Installing right side up requires significant sanding to clear the top cap and is not recommended. So it does want you to install these Icon shocks with the body of the shock down, and the reason being is that it's easier to do the trimming on the lower shock mount than it would be on the upper. So this is really surprising to me that they chose to have it installed that way with trimming the lower shock mount. To me, it makes me think that they more so made the Colorado work with their shock as opposed to making a shock specifically to fit the Colorado. I still really like Icon as a company. I don't think this is a deal breaker. I still think I'm gonna end up running these shocks in the long term. But since I already explained to you guys that my shock mounts don't work anyways, they still need to be lower, I think I'm still scratching my head on this one. I don't know, I really don't. It's a real pain to be under the truck grinding and cutting, and I don't really want to cut off the shock mounts that I made and make new ones that are lower. That seems like it might be the best solution, but I think I'm still gonna try to think of other solutions. Moving the top mount up, also very difficult and even harder to get up in there and cut with an angle grinder, and that would be, yeah, that'd be a lot of work. I don't really want to go the route of BDS 4-inch lift. I'm gonna be underway on a Coast Guard ship for a long time and not be able to use this truck. So I don't really want to put thousands of more dollars into it. So I'm gonna have to scratch my head on this one and see what I think. But the moral of the story is, if you want to run Icon shocks, if you have leaking DSSV shocks, if they're not warranted anymore, or if you just don't like them and you want a cheap replacement option, I believe the Icon shock should work for you. All right, so I decided to go ahead and install them anyways. So you can see they're not a lot of up travel left on the shock, but I did have to trim, if you can see, I did have to trim the mounts there to fit the Icon shocks, but I'm happy with them. I had someone lined up already planning to buy my DSSV shocks, so got these installed, and now I just got to figure out some sort of a slight lift to get that shock more up travel before it's bottomed out.